So every week, as the listeners must know by now, surely, we have an ingredient. Or sometimes it's a bit vaguer than that. We did curing one episode, didn't we? So it wasn't really an ingredient, but an ingredient that we talk about. And then one of us has brought in something to nibble on. And this week's ingredient, well, do you know, because we had oil and I thought, let's do butter because that's what it is, butter.
Yeah, it's butter. Ladies and gentlemen, it's butter. We're doing butter. Star ingredient of the week is butter.
Butter, which is like oil.
Sort of.
It's like yellow, hard oil.
Good.
Isn't
Glad
it?
you finished that sentence. Fat,
but butter specifically.
Butter specifically. Yeah.
What are your thoughts on butter?
I love butter.
I love butter.
I have such fond memories of butter in France, just being like cheese.
Yes, in fact, where we talked about it on a previous episode where, there was one of your real...
Well, I say it...
Proustian flavours to be all like...
I say it now,
clogs.
but then I'm like, everyone's, well... Anthony Bourdain said it in page 3 of his Kitchen Confidential. I'm like, yeah, but anyone who's eaten butter for the first time in France goes, is this butter? It tastes like cheese.
Yeah.
So, cheesy butter was one of my things. I'm not sure if I'm a fan. And now I love it. Cheesier the better. Weirder the better. Funkier
and also,
the better.
talking of France, I love the butter they get with the little salt crystals in. That just feels so holiday, doesn't it? That's holiday butter.
Yeah, when we're down in Cornwall, my wife's parents get this one. It's always in a nice roll, and but it's so salty and so cheesy, and it's
with
like,
the crystals. Is it
no,
as well?
just tastes
right.
Yeah.
Yes, the shape of the butter. It's funny, isn't it? You put it in a roll, and it's like you put it in a block. And it's like
£2.50. And I'll tell you one. I don't mind telling. I got told off once when I was doing a bit of social media content because I don't really have like an affinity to a butter brand, and Anchor Butter came to me and they were like, oh, can you do a couple of dishes with some butter? And I was like, yeah, sure. So I did chicken wings that were like tossed in sort of like a buttery glaze. And I posted the video. I was like, oh yeah, great. And then everyone started going, God, I can't believe you're using Anchor Butter. I can't believe what they've done to the butter. And I was like, what do you mean? They were like, they reduced their pack size from 250 down to 200 and kept the price the same. And I didn't even know.
Lurpak have done that too.
Bastards.
I know. Shrinkflation.
Shrinkflation.
That's what it's called, isn't it?
But the thing that annoyed me the most was that as a chef, I could look at a block of butter and it always has 25 grand increment.
Yes, no, exactly. You just go,
well, that's that.
Cut it in half.
So you do that and you're like, why has my cake not worked? And it's like, because I put in half the amount.
Yes, whereas the supermarket ones, they're still 250. So the own brands.
Oh, the own brands.
Yeah.
Good old own brands. And that makes me think about Tom Gilbert when he talked about the wine. He said, select the own brand wines.
Well, he was saying specifically the kind of extra special, the ones that they've chosen, because I've always veered away from those thinking, they're just trying to get rid of stuff.
Yeah.
And he said, no, they curate them and they do make sure.
Yeah,
So
it's
actually,
basically him doing it for...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's talk about brown butter, because I was watching a video of yours where you were making bechamel sauce.
Yeah.
And you really, something which I don't ordinarily do, you really browned the butter beforehand.
Well, I suppose if we... So beurre noisette, whatever that's call it, nutty butter. I always just think it adds that sort of like added element of flavour. So you obviously, when you melt the butter, there'll still be some milk solids left in there. So you could talk about it for ages. But if you clarify butter, you do over a low heat and then you wait for those to separate and then you strain off the milk solids and you keep the...
And that is what ghee is,
for
example.
Ghee.
That's literally with the milk solids taken off.
Yeah.
And is it the milk solids... Am I right in thinking it's the milk solids that will go rancid? So if you clarify it, that butter will keep indefinitely.
Just fat.
Yeah.
So then if you want to do beurre noisette, then you keep all of that in and you keep boiling it or bubbling it away. And then that's what burns to then make your beurre noisette taste almost, like nutty butter. It's amazing. What's his name? Is it Ed Kimball, who's a baker? And he burns milk powder. So he gets milk powder and toasts it off in a pan and puts it in cookies. And it is almost like
so you get the same
butter.
kind of profile.
It's amazing. But I always think, if you put butter in, some of it has a flavour, but some of it, unsalted butter potentially doesn't really have much of a flavour. You're just using it for its properties. But if you always burn the butter, you don't have to do it like really far, but it just adds that little element of
Ooh. I had, it's, someone who we've talked about numerous times on the podcast, Doug McMaster at Silo, had a brown butter ice cream that he made once that was... It's still, I still dream of it. It was sensational.
I tried to recreate his butter because he did a fermented butter. And you basically, we're going to talk about making butter? How butter's made?
I think we should definitely talk about making butter.
So, the easiest way or to explain making butter is you take double cream or like a heavy cream, lots of fat content, and then you just whisk it.
Yeah.
And then it basically just separates the buttermilk and then the fat. And obviously you still have a bit of the milk solids left in there, or the buttermilk left in there. So you rinse it under cold water, ice cold water, and squidge it. And then all of that comes out, and then you've basically got butter. Then you flavour it from there, which is just mental.
Oh, and it's just so much fun as well. And it's magic. So I, about a year ago, was in, I think, whenever, it doesn't matter when it was, in the supermarket.
2 weeks ago.
They had... They had pots of double cream that were just drastically reduced. They'd obviously bought a glut of it. It was fine. It still had like 3 or 4 days left on the date, and it was reduced from like, I don't know, sort of £2 down to 50p. Anyway, you basically get, I've found, if you've got double cream, you get half that weight is butter.
Yeah.
So I got so much for so little money, and then thought, well, I'll make butter out of this cream. And I'd never done it. Well, I'd done it before when I was really small. Me and my mum got a big jam jar, put just full fat milk in it, and just shook it for ages. And we eventually got, we literally made like one of the ones you get in a buffet breakfast, the little foil packets, which always are either unbelievably hard, or just like you try and peel them off and they're all stuck to the inside and you're scraping it out. Have you seen the person who online where they poke it with a fork and then squeeze it out and you get the little... That's quite a good idea. But anyway. Butter. So got my stand mixer, which I'll talk about later, and put all the cream in, whiskey, and it's so fascinating because first of all it whips and you go, whipped cream, and then it does that thing where you go, I've over whipped it, and then nothing happens for ages, and then it's so instant when it's just suddenly butter and water. It's just, and you have to turn the mixture off really quick, otherwise you end up with the buttermilk going everywhere. And it's just magic.
Yeah. But like looping all the way back around to Doug's thing, he did like a fermented cream. So the cream almost was turned into cheese somehow.
Yeah.
I did ask him and he said, I may tell you. And like, so you kind of like, funk the cream somehow. And then once that was almost cheesy, then you make the butter from that funky cream. Yeah. And then you get this, because you can't you can't really season the butter, I suppose. Like turn it cheesy after you've made the fattiness. So you have to make the fattiness taste of cheese before you make it that way.
He sent me some of his cheesy butter.
Yeah.
So he did, in my Snack Hacker videos, I did one about Alexander's, which is the weed that the Romans brought over, apparently, which is abundant in the UK, and every part of it is edible, and they use it a lot in Silo, or they certainly did when they were in Brighton.
Yeah.
And he gave me this recipe where you use every bit of the plant, and then it's dressed with kind of fried capers and this cheesy butter. So he sent me a little pot of his cheesy butter to do the dish with. And talking of Romans coming over,
go on, straight roads.
If you want to Google, listeners,
go on,
image search for Douglas McMaster, and then image search for Gladiator 2, talking of Romans.
Oh,
Paul Mescal.
So you have
Gladiator
to do them
2.
as separate search.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Paul Mescal looks exactly like Douglas McMaster.
Does, yeah.
Pretty much.
Just
from
better mullet.
A lot of angles. Douglas McMaster's got a better mullet.
Well, more trendy, more East London than a gladiator from Roman Empire.
But there's definitely a little bit of mulletness to Paul Mescal's hair in there.
Yeah, I love mezcal. Not him, just the drink.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, smoky mezcal.
So you get it with the worm.
I've never done it with the worm.
I've got a bottle of mezcal and we're down to about that much, and the worm's still there.
Is he still there, or is he dead?
I assume he was dead
hammered
when I bought it.
Absolutely smashed.
I think I'll just top it up with more
water.
Yeah, just for.
Oh, yeah, you just out on videos just necking bottles of mezcal.
I'm just gonna have a quick look to see.
Yeah, I'm just gonna see what note. There's a food fact here. Butter was used as a remedy for various ailments. Ailments. It was believed to have healing properties and was applied to wounds and used to treat burns.
Butter on the burns.
Butter on the burns. I'd stick it in a wound.
I tell you what, as
drip out though.
As someone who's worked in professional kitchens lots, do you have any good tips for when you're burnt? Because I remember at the circus, someone burnt their hand, and this guy ran over with a potato and a grater and just grated a load of potato onto it, and then they wrapped it in a cloth, and he said that was the right thing. Grated potato, apparently.
That's the circus.
And I've done that since.
That's why so much food waste has happened. Where's all these potatoes getting wasted? Oh yeah, someone's grating potatoes. No, cling film.
Right.
It's something to do with
keeping
the moisture.
First, or just cling film it.
Well, this is a story from where were we? Where was it? V-Fest. And one of the girls lit. We had like big 6-burner gas ovens, and they were really suspect. Like they were ones you like throw on the back of a lorry, and then you're like, "Is it going to light?" And she was in the back trying to click it, wasn't lighting, and the gas was obviously on, and she went, blew the doors blew open like comedy. She went flying across the room, singed all her eyes, everything. Her arms got the worst of it. Yeah, and they just wrapped it in cling film.
Right.
Yeah.
Nothing on it first.
No, straight on the cling film. Yeah, but it's just cold water, isn't it? They say cold water until it stops burning.
Yeah, because I know when I've had bad burns, you hold it under cold water and it's a relief. You take it out and within like 3 seconds, it's just like it's fiery immediately.
Let the body do the magic. But they have like burn kits, don't they? They have like a jelly in them. Because one of my friends again, he pulled a tray of duck fat and it washed up his arms.
My daughter, exactly the same, tray of focaccia that was too high, got it out of the oven, straight down the arm. Huge burn, hospital, the works.
Deary me. What else have we got here? We've got butter can be part of a healthy diet in moderation, like anything. It contains nutrients like calcium, vitamin A, D, E, and ketamine too. Ketamine as well.
That's a mountain.
There's a bit of mountain in there.
Butter mountain.
Butter
is one of those food stuffs that is so like all over. Like 1 minute it's like it's really bad for you.
Yeah.
Now it's like, oh no, that's all really good for you, and the whole eating fat doesn't make you fat thing, and yeah.
Well, I suppose if you say it is calories, when you do count the calories in like butter, and you see like people like James Martyn or what's his name, Thomas Strachere, doing like his butter dishes, just block 250 grams of butter and just baste that fish, and then you eat that fish. No wonder you're getting fat if you do that. But yeah, anything in moderation is all right, isn't it?
And talking of James Martyn, I think we mentioned it before, but listeners, another Google image search. Do look for James Martyn's book called Butter, because the cover is just weird. We've seen it before, haven't we?
Have we?
Yeah. Have a look in a minute. Have a look while I'm microwaving the thing.
Oh, where he's like...
It's where he's holding it like it's like he's holding a heart. Yeah. And it's all dripping, and he's just like staring down the lens in a slightly...
Oh, God.
Popped up as things do on your social media. Him on tour. His tour poster's hilarious.
Is it? What's he doing? What's he doing with the butter this time?
That one, he's not with butter. He's staring down the lens, and he's got a... It's like James Bond. He's got, but the bow tie but undone, the kind of, where it's one slightly longer than the other. It's like, what's that?
Who are you?
Yeah,
you're Chippendale? I don't know.
Why are you wearing a bow tie?
Anyway, what have you brought for us to eat with butter? Because that's what we normally do on this part of the segment. Instead of talking about butter for so long, we eat something.
Listeners, that's what we do. We bring in a dish. And I've brought in a sacrilegious thing, but it's my vibe. What I've done, I've got 3 compound butters, different ones. Okay. So, better quickly explain to the listeners in case they wonder what compound butter is.
Let's do that.
Shall I tell them?
You can do it.
It's basically where you add bits to butter and then re-chill it, usually in a kind of sausage shape, cut discs of it, and then you've got flavour suspended in lovely butter, haven't you?
You have indeed.
So I've got 3 different ones of those.
Get it out then.
But what are we having them? What are we having them on?
Jackie potato.
No.
Sausage roll.
You know already what it is because I put it in your fridge. And when I put it in Martin's fridge, he said, "Does this really need to go in the fridge?" And we were like, "Probably not," because it's not even a Rustlers.
It's not even a Ginsters.
It's a Lidl's own brand Rustlers, which I think is called Fasters.
Rustlers.
No, or Snacksters.
Listlers.
This does come with, of course, a cheese slice and ketchup. However, I thought we'd just do the bun and the burger so we can taste the butter.
Go then, get it in there.
I'm going to.
Let's have a read of the ingredients. I'm always intrigued by these things. Good God. No wonder they had to make the burger that big. Have you seen the amount of ingredients? Okay, so while George is doing that, we have a flame-grilled quarter-pounder beef burger. It says 46% beef burger, 85% beef fat, soy protein, dextrose, salt, wheat glue, and egg white powder, fortified wheat flour, hydrolyzed soya and maize protein, onion powder. Wow. Rapeseed oil, yeast, sesame seeds, sugar, salt. What is that? Monodiacetyl tetanic acid. I mean, it sounds delicious.
But Martin, is this an accessible podcast? Yes, it is.
Absolutely. Anyone can go and get one of these.
Do people eat these? Yes, they do.
Do they?
This is going to be exciting, listeners. So what we've got what we've got here.
That looks quite nice, actually.
Do you know what? They're not bad. And I tell you what. So in my book,
Oh, here we go.
which is out in June,
Plugosaurus
I've
Rex over here.
I've done an inside out Rustlers or microwave double burger with a mushroom kind of creamy mushroom sauce, with a creamy mushroom and beer sauce that basically is recreating those flavors that I had on the train with the beer and the microwave burger. But then what you do is you take the bun and you butter the insides and you flip it like that, and then you put it on a griddle and toast it, and it's like a toasted sandwich with 2 burgers in, and it is delish. Anyway, on that now.
All right.
So I've got the burger here. Yum-o.
Well done. Look at that.
I'm gonna
Mop up all those juices with the top bun.
Yeah, let's do that. And I'm gonna cut it into thirds, and then we're gonna put
psychopath.
We're gonna put. So we do the Mercedes symbol, roughly. Let's cut it into thirds. Yeah.
Oh,
there we go.
very well done.
Or like C and D, but without that bit. And then we're gonna put. Slightly uneven. We're gonna put compound butter on each one.
Okay, tell me about the compound butters first, though. What have we got?
I've got 3 different compound butters
Can I try and
here.
guess them by having a little nibble?
Yes. Number 1, brown in colour. What's that?
Tastes like aniseed. Fennel?
No, you were right the first time.
Aniseed.
Bovril and aniseed.
Bovril and aniseed?
Yeah. Number 2.
Go on.
Although really you should be having this with the burger because I'm wondering
Cafe de Paris. Garlic.
That one's Cafe de Paris, the third one.
Wow!
It's got a lot going on, hasn't it? That one is, that is a recipe from, there's a brilliant book by a guy called Oliver Rowe. Have you heard of him?
No.
He's he had a restaurant. Oh no, let's put more on that. Come on, let's go for it. Hold on, I'll tell you about Oliver Rowe in a minute. So we've got the 3 butters. We've put a lump in each one and they're melting down nicely. Shall we have a little taste first while they're all melted?
Yes, please.
Or should we talk about?
You tell us what's in it.
Okay, so number 1, that is a Bovril and aniseed compound butter. So it's just unsalted butter, softened Bovril, 2 teaspoons of Bovril for 125 grams of butter.
Gosh, measurements.
Yeah. And then toasted aniseeds.
Oh.
Yeah, and then the secret ingredient. No. Toasted aniseeds, which I just ground down with my pestle and mortar. Great. Half each.
There you go.
Let's see what it's like. I'm going to get a bit of extra Bovril butter on there. Oh dear, dropped a bit.
It's like,
that's really good, isn't it?
I don't know if the burger's really good or... I feel like you wanted to enjoy the burger before and then sort of have the comparison because you kind of get
I think those
loads of like aniseediness, but then I'm like a big hit of I think
that's coming from the Bovril because the Bovril is, it's like pure stock syrup almost.
Right, next.
But the aniseed, before we go on to that, the aniseed really, I think it really enhances the meatiness.
Yeah, it makes it feel bougie.
Well, it's like we were saying about improving a bolognese a couple of weeks ago. I was saying about putting, fennel seed or star anise in, and it just gives. So this one
Tastes like a chicken Kiev burger now.
let's have a little try.
What was in that one?
That's good.
No, it's lovely.
Don't try it yet.
I'm not. I'm mopping up the juices.
Don't mop up the wrong juices.
I didn't. I mopped up all of this juice.
But that's for that one.
No, because I just broke it.
Oh,
over
okay.
here.
Oh, phew. I thought you were mixing our butters.
I can't believe you slept
Don't
with me
cross
last
the
night.
streams.
So you treat the women in the morning.
So yes, this one in the middle, it is a nasturtium flour butter.
Oh my good
And it is-
God! Get out, nasturtium. What are you?
I got nasturtiums in my window boxes last summer. There was an abundant. I don't know if you've ever grown nasturtiums. Thank you very much.
Absolutely not.
If you grow nasturtiums, you pick the flowers, and the next morning there's just full of flowers again. It's amazing.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
get so many, and then you can the flower buds you can pickle, and they're like capers. Really amazing plant. You can eat the leaves. Anyway, and they grow like that so easy. So we had all these nasturtium flowers. Thought I don't know what to do with them. I was reading through Oliver Rowe's book. It's called Cooking for the Seasons, All Seasons, something like that. It's a brilliant book. He basically just goes through a year of the stuff he cooked. He had a restaurant called Constam. It was a really interesting project. It was basically a restaurant where everything was sourced within the M25. And there, there's like, sort of satellite farms, on the outskirts of London. So everything, and really good food. Anyway, and he had a recipe for nasturtium flour butter. So you basically, you chop up nasturtium flowers. There's garlic in there. I think there's, I can't remember. I took a photo of the page in the book.
Yeah. Nasturtium leaves just reminds me of those, like, you know, when they like do a fish dish and they're like, just going to put a couple of nasturtium leaves on there, and I'm like, oh.
Oh no! I think that they're overused in kind of fancy looking food.
Yeah.
But they do have a nice mustardy, peppery flavour to
I was going to say, what do they taste of?
Yeah,
Mustardy, peppery.
mustardy, peppery, kind of a bit like rocket or whatever. But what's lovely about a nasturtium flour butter, especially if you put it in the freezer, is you still get, so you can see the colours. You get, you know, the colours from all the flowers in there, and like a disc of that put on a piece of fish or something. Looks
Pretty
beautiful.
little petal butter.
So that was that one, which we've already eaten. So it was quite garlicky.
Tastes like chicken Kiev, yeah.
And this last one, Café de Paris butter, which I am going to have to look at the recipe again. So this is from Tim Hayward's book, Steak, the Whole Story. And that has got so much in it. I think there's anchovy, mustard, cayenne pepper.
We talked about that before, didn't we? Just like it was the butter to cover up the smell and the taste of weirdness.
Well, yeah, the butter to cover up rubbish meat.
Yeah. Ta-da! We've gone full circle.
I'll tell you what, though.
That's lovely, that.
The cheapest own brand microwave burger is
transformed into an umami chicken Kiev bougie restaurant meal. Yeah, delicious.
Really nice, aren't they?
Yeah, what was that burger again? Go get one afterwards.
Speed fast.
Speed fast.
I think I know them embarrassing. I know them too well. There is, I think that the three shops that have got their own brands, I think, are Aldi, Lidl, and Asda. I think there's Quicksters and Snacksters. I think. Yeah, I think they're the other
right.
own brands. But compound butter, make it, little sausages of it, freeze it.
Yeah.
And then, what I tend to do is actually chill it when it's firm, cut it into discs, put those in a little bag, put them in the freezer, and then you can just transform it. You know, you just cook some frozen peas, take one of those discs out, drop it in, stir it around, and suddenly everything's boff.
Boff, nasturtiums.
Butter. Thank you, but just a minute. I'd like to just pause for a moment and say thank you, butter.
Do you want a round of applause?
No, I'm not asking for an applause. I'm thanking butter.
Butter.
For being great.
Ah, well, thank you, cream, for splitting. Thank you to the person who decided to split cream. Or whisk cream. What happened?
Well, I don't know, it's thousands of years.
Millions of years ago. How do you reckon they invented it? That's what I love about a cake. How did they go, let's put some butter, sugar, flour and eggs together and then have a cake? Who thought of butter?
Yeah.
Do you reckon they just, some cream?
It must be some accident. Well, I would imagine with that it would have been, cream heavy milk that was jiggled about.
And someone ran home with a jar of milk in their bag.
My milk's broken.
Yeah, where's the
What's
cream?
this stuff? Oh, it's nice.
Yeah.
Oh, it's lovely on toast.
And what's the other stuff?
What's lovely on sourdough?
Yeah.
What's lovely on this microwave burger?
Yeah.
And they invented it.
I burnt myself. Get the butter, quick.